Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Behind the Syndicate, the bi-week edition. Thank you all so much for watching. Joining me tonight, as always, is head coach of your soon-to-be CoFL champions, the Texas Syndicate, Coach James Champagne. Coach, thanks for joining me tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, so we are going to be joined by two very special guests here in a moment, but before we introduce them, I just want to get your thoughts on last week's victory. So, Coach, it was a hard-fought 23-20 victory in a game that came down to the final moments with a los dose. So, what was your overall takeaway from the way the team battled through the ups and downs over the weekend?
Congrats to our guys and our coaches for getting the win. Um, I'm still always gonna think that it was sloppy. You know what I'm saying? But um, despite all the circumstances we had to endure before the game, during the game, things of that nature, my guys responded. So something we preached to our guys. Everything isn't always gonna be easy. Don't want the cakewalks in life. So the guys that model that and survive in the chess match. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to those guys. Happy for that.
Sorry, Coach, your audio is kind of coming in and out. Sorry.
Let's see. Hold on.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, that's much clearer. Thank you.
Hold on. Let me. Hold on. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. Yeah. So I'll answer that again. Kudos to our guys and our coaches for getting it done on the road. That's something that was an expectation for us way before we started this season. Is to dominate the road record. So good job on starting that up. Despite all the circumstances and stuff that we had to endure before the game and during the game, I'm always going to think things are sloppy, but kudos to the guys for winning the chess match and getting it done. I know we need to clean up things on all three sides of the ball, but we got the win, so
Yes,
great
sir.
job for them.
So I know that the team forced four turnovers, and while only committing, if I'm not mistaken, I tracked two turnovers that we committed. So how big a factor was the turnover margin in securing this win?
It was a huge factor, right? Because turnovers allow us to have more possessions, which allow us with the opportunity to have the ball more and hopefully dictate the field position. So, shout out to our team for investing in that, believing in that, and actually applying it. So, great job to that side of the ball for forcing those turnovers and for everyone doing their assignment. So, the players that did force the turnovers were able to do that. So, great
So,
job, man.
all right. So Trey Sanders, and we're going to be hearing from him shortly later in the podcast. But he had an outstanding performance with my tracking. Now these are not official stats. I just went back and I watched the game, and I was going like play by play. So I added up myself. So these are not official.
Yeah.
I counted him. He had 24 carries for 142 yards. So, how important was establishing the run game and controlling the tempo, especially in that second half?
It was really important. That is something that we want to do as a football team is to win the time possession battle. I always reference this hat that I wear in practice throughout the week some days, and it's more so for the offensive guys. And Trey is one guy that sees and probably knows what I'm talking about with that hat. And they buy into that. So shout out to Trey's offensive line, but most importantly, shout out to Trey for seeing the space, filling the space like we always telling him. Not trying to do the home run stuff and making sure the first guy don't bring him down. So um, kudos to him. Very proud of him and that side of the ball for embracing their identity and applying it.
Yes, sir. Outstanding. And you split time between Jeremy Hunt in the first half and William King in the second half at quarterback. Was there an injury that led to the switch at quarterback, or if so, how easy, or was it just a performance issue? What happened there?
So I mean, when both guys signed, both of them signed knowing that nobody is coming here to hold a clipboard. So we wanted two elite quarterbacks way before we started this journey. So I'll say that um, both of the guys, since we started back in training camp, have always gotten like quality reps and things of that nature. Um, Whether a situation happens like last week or just for the good, the bad, the ugly, or the outstanding. Jeremy did have an injury right before halftime. It's nothing serious, thank God. So some recovery and things of that nature. Jeremy's been doing his job with that piece, so that way he's good to go and get back. And like I said, with both quarterbacks, nobody here, nobody signed to be with the syndicate to hold a clipboard, and both of those gentlemen knew that we're only as good as the weakest link on any position on any side of the ball, and there should be no weak links. So, it was King's moment when that happened. Great job for him. Jeremy did some things well before his circumstance happened, but it's nothing that's permanent. So kudos to both of those men.
Okay, excellent. That's good. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Mhm.
So the passing game did produce two touchdowns. I saw there was one to Quintavious Workman and the other one to Marcellus Johnson. But the team also dealt with some interceptions. What adjustments did you make at halftime, and what are your thoughts on the red zone efficiency and execution?
Oh well, freaking offensive staff got on the guy's butt, and that was first adjustment. And shout out to those gentlemen for making it happen with that piece, and shout out to the players most importantly for applying it and actually going with what works and going with what's giving us rhythm and execution and all that good stuff. And hey, the dudes responded. With Marcellus' touchdown in the first half, Jeremy threw it.
Hmm.
With Workman's touchdown with King threw it, right? Before Jeremy went down, he was using his legs. He used them legs when the moments were there and protecting himself, right? When it was times for King to use his legs, he did it. So less is more, right? Take the game plan, take the scheme, all that nice stuff, and then you got to follow your heart out there as players, and based off of the right and left limits that the coaches provide well before the game on those sides of the ball. So yeah.
So the defense came up with four interceptions, including a pick six by Rashad Morris and two by Trevante Gilmore, who we will speak to later on in the show. Which defensive stands or turnover stood out the most to you, and how did it set the tone for the unit?
I mean, it's hard to really implement one or to bring one higher than the other. If you look at Vontae's first interception, we was down 7-0 after the first 29 minutes of the correction, 29 seconds of the game. Um, it was a sloppy play and execution. And it wasn't even sloppy play. It was just, hey, sloppy awareness by the offense in that case. Trey was a part of that play, but that's what makes this so more rewarding because Trey is a dude that embodies what we always tell our guys. Everything is just a moment. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to him for that. Vontae made his first interception. Can't remember if it was second or third down, but did what the game plan needed to do. And he put us in good field position with our offense to be able to move the ball, take some time away. Um, Morris's interception right before halftime made it a 13-7 ball game before we had a mishap on defense, which I'm still upset about. But Morris's interception was really special because it was um it was instinct, it was reading, it was executing, trusting what he sees, trusting what he knows. Um, with Morris's interception, we had a linebacker that made an interception prior to that. Michael Robinson. Michael Robinson made that interception inside of the opponent's 5 yard line. So, but
Mhm.
he didn't get up. Right, Mr. Ref said he was down. He was down, boom, boom, boom. Talk with the guys about that. I'm like, hey, we got to control what we can do, right? So, hey, catch the interception. Don't always assume. Catch the interception, do more mentality, get up, and then that's up to Mr. Ref or Miss Ref to tell us to stop or blow it dead. So, kid you not, a series or two later, Morris was in the same situation, deeper on the field, and he had to tell him. He
Right.
got up, made it happen, got the score. And then Vontae's second interception was in the second half at a critical moment. It may have been 21-20 at that time, or it may have been 21-17 at that time, where we were up for both of those. I can't remember which one, but um, we're by committee on this team. So
Yes, sir.
we're by committee. Both all four of those turnovers allowed us four more possessions on offense and to dictate the time possession in the trenches. So great
Absolutely.
job to all those men being.
So again, these are not official stats, but from my tally, the Tall City Black Gold put up 312 total yards, but they only scored those 20 points. So, what did your defense do well to limit any explosive plays and capitalize on their mistakes?
Um they didn't get down on themselves too hard without doing something about it. You know, so shout out to them for that. That's something we preached them about. With those 20 points, right? We had the mishap earlier in the game offensively. Um, that's seven. The bonehead, terrible execution on our part because we was on our high horse right before halftime. By our defense, right? We have to complete, not necessarily finish. The guys do a great job at finishing and going um full gas, but our awareness just has to continue to be better because we can't be in this situation again where we give up a score right before half where guy makes a decent catch in a window, well, a solid catch in a window. We force a turnover, but it goes right into the opponent's hands. So um, they have short term memory.
Hmm.
Well, they remember, but they don't dwell on it, and they do something about it, and that's something we always tell them. So um, it's a dogfight, and we knew going into this season in this league that it shouldn't be any cakewalks and stuff, right? We don't control who's on our schedule and things of that nature, but we gotta stay focused on our expectation and what we need to do.
So you guys did miss a field goal opportunity, but you still found ways to score. Uh, how do you evaluate the special teams unit overall contribution, especially with Jaron and Bronny's struggles in the regular season? I mean, he was amazing in the preseason game, but since the regular season, he's seems like he's been kind of struggling.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. That's just what it is. Call a spade a spade, but um, he's a pro. He's a great human. He's doing what he needs to do to fix those things when we're in those opportunities. And we could have made a choice in Midland to dwell on what we don't have or at the time or what wasn't working at the time, or we could have made in-game adjustments as a coaching staff and as a player group, right? So hey, situation like that happens. It's not Jaren's way that day, right? So okay, offense. We play for four mindset now, right? Um, have a plan for when the 2 point conversions come, right? But wait before that time comes. Less is more. Don't get too creative and exotic, but be who we are. We're implementing that so we can get the 2 points. And then that allows the other special teams groups, meaning Owen, hey, look, man, you the field position guy. So you need to deal with it and you need to get the punt off. No excuse. Don't care about blocking, none of that stuff like that. Get it off. And allow your other side of the ball to play good football, and then that leads into the fourth quarter, right? Where as a coaching staff, you just got to pick your spots and feel the vibe of the players. All the guys are starving. All the guys want to execute. But you just got to have that feeling based off of when to go for it. Based off the field position, the down and distance, things of that nature. How the officiating is going, things of that nature. The win, all that. Even though we didn't have to deal with win that night, we got to decipher. Okay, hey, when to go for it, and hey, look, let's do our punting, right? And
Mhm.
then that's what led to the Los Dos as well later on. So, yeah, had a setback with the kicking game, but someone else picked it up on our team in this and in the same unit. So,
Yes,
mhm.
sir. So the other negativity I guess we need to address was the team was penalized, from my count, 12 times for about 95 yards of penalties, the most penalized side in the game. Uh, what will you emphasize in practice this week to clean that up moving forward?
Don't put things in other people's hands. Bottom line, right? And just knowing that, hey, in our industry, in any industry or any part of life, you got to follow the rules. We don't make the rules; we enforce them, and that's what you gotta do to reel your guys back in, or to reel your people back in. In our industry, it's officiating. So guess what? Hey, um, Mr. Ref or Miss Ref is always right at the end of the day. How are we going to combat that? You know what I'm saying? With that piece. So that's what we was focusing on during the game, during those situations. And that's definitely what we're gonna focus on afterwards. Don't put things in other people's hands, especially decision makers' hands. So that's what sums that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So at this time, I will introduce one of our very special guests. He is Owen Meister, the punter of the syndicate. Good evening, Owen. How are you doing tonight?
Good night. I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. So, Owen, congratulations on the road victory over the Tall City Black Gold. I mean, you played a huge part in that. What was your mindset heading into this game against a tough Permian Basin team on their home field?
For me, it was more or less just making my mistakes from the week prior, right? Just executing every punt, make sure there was no blocks. That was really just my main goal going into the game. It was just like I treat every game like it's the Super Bowl or my last. So I just, made the most of the opportunity and tried to limit the mistakes from the week prior.
Yes, sir. So you made history that night with the very first Los Dos in the COFL. So can you walk us through that play?
Yeah, so we were in the red zone and we were just trying to keep the ball on our side. We're having a little bit of a tough time finding the end zone and in that situation you normally kick a field goal. That wasn't an option that we had. So I went over to our special teams coordinator and asked, why don't we just, do a Los Dos? And his face lit up and he said, heck yeah. And he ran over to Coach Champagne and Coach Champagne said, you got it from here? And I told him yes, and then kind of just went out there. It was a little funny. It was confusing. We had somebody standing there trying to hold the ball, like, oh, how do you want me to hold it? And I said, oh, no, just get up on the line and block. And they were like, what? I said, yeah, I'm just going to punt it through. And so, yeah, that's kind of a little bit of the pretext. And then just getting out there, it was unique for me because I've always played American football. I never played Canadian style rules. So that was a little bit of a new thing for me to be able to punt for some points.
Yes, I that is definitely a unique thing about the COFL is punting for 2 points. And it turned out to be it was the game-winning score. Uh, so how important was the special teams battle, including coverage and returns and helping you guys secure that victory?
Like Coach said, there's three sides of the ball. A lot of the teams try to play two sides, offense and defense, and I feel like Jaron and I hold special teams very high, and Coach Champagne does hold a high priority in special teams. So I think it was a gigantic part because we were all three phases were included in the special teams as well. So we have guys from defense, offense, all O linemen, D linemen everywhere. So it was very important. One, for team camaraderie, we got a lot of guys playing next to each other, and then just in, like you said, it was a game sealing. Well, Los Dos was game sealing, and the special teams plays are a little bit game changing because it puts the defense in a better position and it limits the opponent's playbook when I'm able to flip the field and whatnot.
Yes, sir. So, what stood out about the Tall City Black Gold's return game that you had to adjust during the game?
It wasn't really anything. There was nothing too crazy. There was a little adjustment in the second half. I did switch over to rugby style punting, kind of to help the return or help our coverage team have a little bit more of a breather getting down there. And then I honestly went back to traditional punting. But there wasn't really any changes like there was the week prior.
Okay. So, how has the chemistry with long snapper James Eichler, if I hope I pronounced his name correctly, and how has that developed this season, and how did it show up in this matchup?
We before the season, all the specialists we've been talking for months, so we've kind of been comfortable with each other. So when the first day we met it didn't feel like the first day. So as the weeks progress, as we go through battle together, it kind of grows stronger and stronger. So I kind of know where he's going to put the ball now. We've been playing for 3 weeks, so I kind of have an idea of where the ball is going to be. It's more of like a trust and an instinct thing. So yeah, it's grown very well. We have a great group of guys in the specialist room, and I couldn't ask for anything else.
Outstanding. So, personally, what does this win mean for you as a professional punter transitioning into the CoFL with the Syndicate?
For me, it's big. Personally, it shows that I can play on a big stage and play well. I think I averaged 41.6 yards this weekend, so I'm able to perform at a high level with high caliber players. And then just as a team, the win is just showing the league that we're still coming. We had a tough showing against the Toros, but we
Mhm.
made mistakes right, and now we're going to be back on that winning record and keep it rolling.
Okay. Final question for you, Owen. Looking ahead, how do you see the special teams continuing to be a difference maker for the Syndicate as the season progresses?
I think it's going to be a big, final decision maker. It's going to come down to some kicks. And I think that, like I said before, a lot of the teams focus only 2 sides of the ball. And I think with the importance we instill in special teams, having that third side and taking it so serious gives us that upper hand, because we take it like it's an offensive possession, because we could score at any time now. But yeah.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much, Owen, for coming on the show and answering these questions. Greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. So our next guest, I'll bring in Mr. Trey Sanders. Hi, Trey. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm outstanding. Thank you. All right. So, Trey, great win on the road against the Tall City Black Gold. How would you describe the running lanes and the offensive line's performance in helping the team grind out that 23-20 victory?
Man, kudos to my whole line, man. I feel like them boys. We got down in the game. We had our down moments, but we came to the sideline. We had a conversation with each other, and we was able to gather each other around and just, we realized that we gotta be a big part of this game, man. We gotta establish run that damn ball, and that's a hat that Coach wear. Excuse my language, but that's one of the hats that Coach wear. But Coach Champagne always preach bully ball by committee. So once you get the ball, man, you got to make it happen. So that was my mindset going to the second half, man, that we got to establish a run game.
All right. So, what was the biggest challenge in facing the Tall City Black Gold's defense, and how did you and the backfield attack it throughout the game?
I feel like they're a very smart defense. They watch their film and they did their part when it comes to that. But we watch him as well. So when it comes to that, each other plays. It just becomes a man-to-man game, and it's about who wants it more. And I feel like that night, we faced adversity pretty early, and once it came later on in the game, we knew we had to make plays, and we made them when it happened.
All right. I mean, in a back and forth contest, how important was the short yardage and goal line runs in controlling the clock and helping set up the final score?
I really wasn't thinking about the final score. It's kind of just like one play at a time, man. Because I feel like when you get so caught up in just looking at the scoreboard and stuff like that, it's a lot that goes on. But just one play at a time, move the ball, move the chains, one play at a time, you know. And eventually you'll get to where you're going. But that was the main thing, just one play at a time.
Mhm. Can you share a specific play or a drive from the game where the run game really shifted momentum in favor of your team?
I say, I think it was like the first time offense went back on the field, second half. Me and the offensive line just went out there and just we had a conversation before we went on the field, and I said, man, just give me a little something, man. I promise I do what I need to do. And that's exactly what they did. You know, they went in and started playing bully ball up front. I love my guys for that. They put it all on the line on that drive, and I give all my kudos to them because without them, man, them runs wouldn't have been there. And I trusted them and they trusted me, and we all made it happen together.
Hmm. So, how does the team's offensive balance, mixing the run with the pass, help in these close games like this one against a physical opponent?
It helps big, you know, because a lot of people like to focus on our run game because we have a pretty good run game, and in that game, our wide receivers really played a big part in making those plays and moving the chains and scoring the touchdowns and things like that, and open up the run game as well. So it just went hand in hand. It was like in perfect harmony.
Mhm. So, as a running back, what does a hard fought road win like this say about the Syndicate's identity this season?
Uh, Bully ball by committee. You know, once you get the ball, you gotta run that damn ball, man. Excuse my language again, but I mean, it's just you gotta. Once you get the ball in your hands, man, you gotta run it, and you gotta be able to make one dude miss or run through a dude, or you gotta keep your feet churning, man. You gotta make it happen.
Yes, sir. Final question for you, Trey. What are you focusing on in preparation for the next game after picking up this very important Southern Division victory?
Just being around my teammates, man, and just building that camaraderie off the field, you know, because once you get on the field, man, you want to be able to look next to you and see your brother and be able to relate to him and know what he goes through off the field. So that way, when y'all get on the field, y'all had that relationship to that. When I say, hey, it's time to win this game, they listen to me, they know how I feel because we built that family unity outside of football. So that's my main thing in this off. We can just learning my teammates, you know, building a relationship with them and with the coaches as well, man. So that way we go to the next week. And even if we go down, man, we know we can depend on each other to go out there and play some ball.
Hmm. Outstanding. Well, thank you so much, Trey, for joining me tonight and answering my questions. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All
What's up,
right.
coach?
What up, man? Solid work, man. Run that
Yes,
darn
sir.
ball, man. But
Run that going
like
ball,
what
man.
you said, baby, what you said.
Willie ball by committee.
Hey, there you go.
All right. So we'll bring in our next guest. He is one of the. Oh, I think maybe he dropped off. Oh, yeah, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like Tavante kind of dropped off. Oops. All right.
You know what? It did about 11 minutes ago.
Oh no.
Dang.
That's too bad because I was wanting to get his thoughts on his two interceptions that he had. I mean, there was pretty key plays that he had that night.
I just texted him. I just saw his message me about 11 minutes ago to see if he used someone else's phone. It delivered. Um, it's your time for the interview. Uh, let me see. That's why I hate doing it from the phone
Yeah.
because I can't see the best.
All good. So, Coach, since I got you here,
Yep. Yep.
now we talked about the penalties. We talked about the special teams. So I know you guys are working on that. So looking ahead with this win, how does this performance build momentum heading into the next stretch of the season?
Oh, I mean, it builds routine, right? It raises that foundation a little bit more. It sustains. It allows us to show our sustainment. You know what I'm saying? So, kudos to those guys. With the Los Dos, we wasn't even thinking about a record. We was thinking about making it a 3-point lead because MIdland has a good kicker, and our offense is taking time off the clock, and our defense is playing good defense. So we're gonna make them sweat for it. Just clock management a little bit, timeout management. Went into play with that. Our offense was really getting momentum, and we could have actually went for it, but we wanted to go with Owen was having a solid game. I think he punted like 6 or 7 times for over 200 yards, a total yardage on the punts. So that was that. He had the idea with Coach Burrell. Coach Burrell talked about it with me a couple of plays prior, and I like that it was talked about. Our guys are so locked in, and everybody's a pro. Everyone has done this on a high level in their own capacity, right? But when you're with a team, you got to have one voice or one thought process, right? It's not one way to do things, but you do got to have one mission. And I say that because we did a better job at talking the scenarios before the moment ever happened. That was talked about 2 or 3 plays prior to even calling the timeout to make it happen. Um, and that allowed me to talk with the offense and the offensive staff to be prepared to be like, hey, look, place the ball where it needs to be placed at. Call your plays, do what you're doing, but make sure that ball's in the center of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if we would have kept on moving the ball, we would have kept moving the ball just at the center of the field. And we were doing it, and it was time to punt. Called the timeout. Um, and being aware of our timeouts, and hey, we made the call to do it. So everybody trusts each other. This isn't a team where we're trying to outscore people and we just trying to blow up a lot of points. This isn't a one-sided team in that nature. It's not a one-sided team with, oh God, the defense is playing outstanding, because it's stuff we totally need to work on that side of the ball. And it's also not a thing of, well, special teams only puts in the work when it's their period to do so. No, so um great time management and awareness going into that second half and in the fourth quarter. And even in the third quarter a little bit got better with everybody. So um kudos to those guys for that. Kudos to everybody for doing their part. Um this ain't a one person team. So
Absolutely. So, like I said, I went over to some stats. So, and like I said, again, it's not official. This is just me tallying everything up. But it looks like you guys had 22 first downs. You had 78 total plays from my count for 378 yards. Average about 4.8 yards per play. You had 168 rushing yards on 42 attempts. 210 passing yards on 38 attempts. Uh, Seemed like you guys were pretty efficient on offense, except for those penalties.
mhm,
And kind of looked like you Edward had the edge in the time of possession. About 32 minutes and 45 seconds by my count against their 27 minutes and 15 seconds.
mhm.
So, what can you say about your offensive performance overall?
They responded. They responded, and they hit targets based off of our mission. What you just said, time possession, we gotta dominate that. That's non-negotiable. Um, the first down battle, right? Winning on first down, winning on third down. So to get 20 something first downs, great preparation by the offensive staff and great um presence and execution by the guys that's doing it on the field, right? Through the penalties and all that. Nobody's a robot, so guys are gonna make mistakes. Part of being physical, sometimes mistakes and penalties are gonna happen. Those aren't good, but we can't dwell on the good, and we certainly can't dwell on the bad.
Mhm.
Fix it. Be solution based. Don't complain about it if you're not gonna do anything about it. So that's something we tell our guys. So great job on the offense for being efficient on in the run and the pass, and in the pass and the run. So
Mhm. Now, you looks like you guys did give up about 312 yards of offense. About 98 yards of them were on the ground. Had about 214 yards passing,
Mhm.
including that one fluke play. It was I think it was toward the end of the game.
It was the end of the second half.
Yeah, where they cut the ball for like 40 yards and then
Yep.
fumbled it, but then the other guy caught it in the midair and ran it for a touchdown. I mean,
Mhm.
that was just a tough break for you guys.
Mhm. It was it was, and mind you, that happened after we got an interception. I
Mm,
think that actually happened either after Morris's pick six, or it was Morris's pick six, or it may have been Michael Robinson's interception close inside of their five, and we eventually scored later. I can't remember which one. Um, and we wasn't too high on ourselves. We needed to be a little bit more focused, but we wasn't too high on ourselves. So I wouldn't say that. It was a situation where our guys was applying something that we instilled in them that particular week, but you have to complete it. So yes, force the turnover, right? But we got to recover the turnover or not allow the opponent to have the ball. So I mean, yeah, you don't want to give up 300 yards of total offense. But everybody is a pro in this league. We're all adults in this league. As much as we would like to keep every column in the stat section at zero, got to pick and choose your battles. I mean, if you go with different elite defenses, and we have a long way to go as far as being elite, but if you go back in the history books from the pros of um, those 2000 Ravens, those '02 Buccaneers, um, some other ones, right? Eagles most recently. If you go, even though we're not college, if you go to some college dominant defenses, Jimmy Johnson's defenses in the '90s, you you're a dominant defense, but every column isn't at zero. So as that side of the ball, you have to decide what two or three columns we want to master without disclosing those columns, but what two or three columns we want to master, and the rest of the chips are going to fall where they may.
mhm.
So our defense did that, but going back to the offense did that, because you could say the same thing for offense, where okay, what two or three columns we want to master in the stat column for that side of the ball, and the same thing goes with special teams. So um, that foundation, I believe, was built way before we met in person in May, because of the amount of time we spent together virtually. It really came to light in the preseason game. It came to light in the week one matchup. But now we're starting to put some soil on that foundation. You know what I'm saying? So growing that soil and that mulch a little bit, not as high as we wanted to be, but it's growing a little bit.
Yes, sir. So we know that you guys are heading into the bye week because unfortunately the Braves did cease operations. So
Mhm.
what's your plans for this bye week?
Oh well, we still practiced, right? We still practice. We have one or two more days to get after it. Not really changing up the battle rhythm uh too much, right? Just tweaking or modifying some things. Maybe taking away time, a few minutes in one area to put into another area, but that tempo is still on par. Demanding more from the guys from the recovery aspect, demanding more from the guys from um, the fitness aspect, so to speak, but also giving people their load management time. Life's about choices. Guys was asking about what's the bye week plans before, like Midland, right? But all we had to do was tell them one time, hey, look, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But the plan was already premeditated way well beforehand. So, um, hey, giving them their load management time as well. So we decided on the weekend when that load management time was gonna be, and they'll be able to get that too. So kudos to the guys for taking care of their business for a practice day that we've practiced thus far, and we still got one or two more practice days to accomplish, and then they'll get their load management time. So not really changing it up too much. The only difference is we're not suiting up on Saturday. That's the only difference to our schedule. But we still been suiting up the amount of days that we need to each week, and that's the mindset about that. Words matter. So
Yes, sir. All right, let's see if Trevante is ready. All right. Hey, Trevante, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
there
Oh,
you go. Got you, baby. Way to adapt, baby. Way to find a way.
there we go. All right. So, welcome, Trevante. I greatly appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, congratulations on that tough 23-20 road victory over the Black Gold. So, what was your mindset going into this matchup against their passing attack on their home field?
We just had to. My mindset was just shaking back from that loss that we had took against the Toros week 1,
All
just
right.
to get us back right
Mhm,
on the right path on the W side.
mhm. So, I mean, you played a big role in the secondary with 2 interceptions. So, can you walk us through those 2 plays?
What, my 2 interceptions?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I just listen to Coach Champagne. What we practice is what's gonna be taught in the game. You feel me? Like your alignment, just once I was in the right place, then the ball just came. I don't know if he overthrown his receiver or his receiver ain't see that ball, but I just know I seen the ball and I just grabbed it and I tried to go score, but you know I ain't score. So then on the second one, uh, I think he threw it like he overthrew his receiver because of our other DB to money was in the perfect spot so that he won't like beam it to the receiver. So he had to throw a high pass, and I guess he overthrew it, and I was just in the right spot, and it just came to me.
Outstanding. So, the game I thought was a defensive battle of especially during the final moments. How critical were those stops and on third down and fourth down in preventing the Black Gold from taking the lead?
It was big. It was big stops. We went out there, we did everything we had to do. Every time we step on the field, we gonna do what we got to do, so the offense could get back on the field and do what they got to do. For
Mhm.
me, that's just our mindset for the whole defense. Just go do your part, go get stops.
All right. What challenges did the Tall City Black Gold's receivers and their quarterback present, and how did you and the secondary adjust throughout the game?
Say it again.
Oh, I was saying that it was a defensive battle, and so what challenges did their receivers and their quarterback present, and how did you and the secondary adjust throughout the game?
We just had to adjust to They kept doing like I ain't gonna lie. I really don't see anything that they really did for real. Like they just did out routes, and we just had to just get to our. It's really us. We just had to get to our zones, and when we did that, you clearly see like they ain't really throw that ball for real. They just kept scrambling with the quarterback. You feel me?
Hmm. So, were there any specific plays or any moments in the game that you thought that stood out in your mind as a momentum shifter in the game?
I mean, a momentum shifter was really with us just stopping really the pass and well, it was really we stopping the run and forcing them to pass to throw it deep or
Hmm.
just throw them deep out routes. Like that's what we wanted to do. And once we make him throw that ball and make him scramble out that pocket or him scrambling the ball, period, that means we doing good. You feel me?
Yes,
We just
sir.
gotta wrap up. That's it.
Yes, sir. So, how was the communication and chemistry within your secondary with your fellow DBs and developed this season? And how did it show up against the Black City Toggle or the
Our, co-
Tall
our
City?
communication,
Yes,
our,
sir.
co- our communication was good because it's either we gonna speak before that play happen or we gonna talk about like what we did wrong or what we need to do right before that play. And once we lock in about what we finna do, it's a wraps. Like our communication was great. Once one of them call out the plays and then one of us look at each other and say what we finna do, then we on point.
All right. Last question for you, Trevante. As a cornerback, what does this hard-fought road win say about y'all's defense and the team's overall identity moving forward?
As a quarterback,
As a DB.
oh, as a DB.
Yes, sir.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought you said quarterback. Can you
Yeah,
say the whole thing?
yeah. As a corner, as a cornerback, how does this hard-fought road victory say about your identity as a defense and as a team's overall identity moving forward?
We're the best defense in this league. That's how I see it. And we got the best defensive coordinator and head coach right there. Whatever he call, we do. We listen. Feel me? We just got to be disciplined, do our roles, do our assignments. Once we do all that, get everything on 100%, it's a wrap. I'm telling you, if you look at the stats, ain't no team score second half. Whatever team we play, it don't matter who we play. They not gonna score second half. We just gotta fix up. We just gotta come out strong. I know they say we probably a second half team. We could be a first half team too. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much, Ravante, for joining me tonight. I greatly appreciate you taking time out.
I appreciate you.
All right,
Appreciate you,
and
Vontae,
that's
man.
it's a beautiful view of the sky too. It looks
I'm
really pretty.
I'm using one of my partner's phones because my phone died and his phone is kind of low, so I gotta put it to my ear.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
bud. Have a good night.
You too. All right, coach.
All
Thank
right, bub.
you.
Be safe.
All right, Coach. Thank you for bringing the players on. I really had a fun time talking to them and getting their thoughts on the game. And thank you again for joining me. And is there anything else that you'd like to say before we wrap up and catch the rest of the Spurs game?
Yeah, nah. Shout out to those three guys, man. It's about getting them out there. So that's why if we can have them on. Grateful to have them on or any of our guys on, and you investing time and actually taking it serious and giving them questions and giving them dialogue and stuff like that. That matters. Shout out to our coaching staff as well for getting it done, for making sure everyone was prepared and locked in on the travel during the game, pre-game, post-game. Um, Traveling back, all that good stuff. Guys stay starving. Shout out to essential personnel as well. Shout out to our traveling drivers that got us there safely back and forth. Also to the athletic trainer, staff, or medical team as well. They take care of our guys. So all those things matter. And just kudos to the fellas, man. They are who they are, and that's what we instill in them to be. Be who they are. We are unite the hustle. It is we over me, but you still gotta be who you are, you know. So it's them. It's in them, not on them. So that, and then like I always say, nobody ever told you you matter. You're chosen. You're more than enough. Be the change that you want to see. Change starts with you. So appreciate y'all.
Sir, thank you. And until next time, unite the hustle.
Unite
Good
the
night,
hustle.
everybody.